Hello, David Paul here. Well, where do I start with this? This is where it's going to end up, but let's go over here and I'll show you something that I was working on previously, and I can now explain what it's about. I went to the hardware store in Davao and I purchased a 20-foot length of angle iron, which is 2-inch by 2-inch angle iron. I have some more angle iron which is 1 by 1, and I did say I thought that was rather thin, and I will not use that again other than for like things like windows. So everybody, like, I brought it home and everybody's kind of looking puzzled about this, and then I discovered on Tallycut Island there is a good welder here. So if you ever want to do anything on Tallycut involving welding, there's a welder guy here, and he was really reasonable, and he had some extra angle iron, so I didn't have to cut some length off my angle iron and make the job shorter. So what I have here is a 10-foot long, basically a railway line, and so I gave him very specific instructions as to how we should weld this up, and it's welded here with the angle sort of like a blade facing downwards, and there's a reason for that. Ditto, likewise, I'm at the Rojas residence, by the way, where I have electricity, water, somewhere to sleep, and all sorts of stuff. So this is working good. So that blade thing points downwards, and the idea here is that you will approach a log with this thing and use a battery powered circular saw to cut a groove in the log. So you cut a wide groove in the log, but the groove is level, it's cut level. It becomes the deciding factor. You know it's level because you decide that it's level, and it runs along a level piece of wood which is held still while it makes the cut. Okay, there's your groove in the log. And then what you do is you take your edge, which forms like a sort of knife or a blade, and you pop that into the hole formed by the circular saw. Likewise, at the other end, you can also create a sort of knife hole for this end, assuming that your log is longer than 10 feet. Now let's assume that it's not longer than 10 feet. Well, you can put another piece of angle iron across, which can be a supply piece. I just realised I must go back and see this guy and get an extra bit. So you can have like a knife which is movable here. So now you've established two parallel lines which are level in this single plane. Now the thing that decides what is level in that direction is the railway lines. So the plan is to have a sort of bridge across here, and it's basically a router leveling device, except it's made to standards way beyond what you normally get in terms of robustness and stuff, because this is going to get carried around a forest to level logs where they are. So I will get the log basically cut to size into the right shapes, and then I'll start leveling it. So at the very end of the job, it will be transported to the site of the house. So why you want to do that is you want to be taking meat off this log all the time. You want to do the maximum amount of processing of the log, which will cause it to be as light as possible. So I've run out of workers for the minute because they're doing other jobs, but tomorrow he's going to be over to chainsaw that tree where I had the problem with the saw the other day. I've now realised it's possibly just the fact that it's run out of gasoline, and I'm going to power my chainsaw up again today, but that doesn't change my decision about getting the worker to do it, because he's so cheap that I might as well get him to do it. and he's got a saw which is a total beast. I mean, it's honestly, it's the size of him. So for the price that he's going to charge me, and I also need to get that tree felled, which is near a power line, so I'm going to get a pro in for the job. So he's going to do that. Then I will start doing the leveling. But unfortunately, as a consequence of cutting the tree down, we're now going to find ourselves with a log which is still soaking wet. So I'm going to have to accept the fact that this log is not going to... I'm still going to machine the faces on it, but I do realise that I'm going to have to do some adjustment of the faces as they settle in the house. There might be some cupping of the face which might be noticeable and not desirable, you know. You might, it's not aesthetically pleasing, so I'll maybe sand them off or machine them off or God knows what. But I will proceed to getting the damn post in as early as possible. So that log will be cut into 2 posts, and the one I was cutting will be cut into 2 posts, and then the remaining 2 where the window is going to go will be simple beams that I already have that I can use as posts. So I'll find something. Right, next, moving on. So what we got to do, and I wanted to make this little video because I want to recommend this saw to you. I'm buying tools here in the Philippines, necessary things like chainsaws, circular saws, stuff like that. The very minimum that I need. I brought some tools, and I now realise my the cordless tools are great, you know, for little jobs. But honestly, like, you need that mains electric to do the beastly stuff. And so what we have to do now is we've got to make this track which is going to slide up and down on the track. So it's going to have a sheet of plywood running across a bridge, and it's going to be composed of, it's going to have 2 pieces of wood which will ride along the track and keep it true. So I have this spare piece of appy tongue, might as well use it, and it's also quite dry now. But not one single face on this thing is true, and I can get away with it, I can cheat on it, but I don't want to. I want to make it look nice. So what I got to do is I got to establish the first face which is true, to which I can then square up everything else. So it's arbitrary, that, but the way to do it is to start by cutting a slit down here and sewing this down its middle to form the 2 flat faces, to which I will then set everything else. I've just got an arrival of gasoline there, that's good.
Just one.
Pagdating ng gasoline ko. Salamat. Isa lang.
Yeah, no
Bakit isa lang?
No more.
Wala iba. Okay, I just got 1 litre of gasoline, so that's it. It comes in pop bottles, which is a really, I mean, this is not health and safety, is it? You do what you do, you know. When in Rome, do what the Romans do. So anyway, getting back to this. So I now dress these up right. I will use the track which I constructed here for face machining and also cutting wood and all sorts, to level these faces up, and then they will be used to make the bridge. Now, a quick mention of something that I want to mention, because I think you should give praise where it's due. I bought this thing in a big hardware store, and it's called the Einel circular saw. It's the Einel TC-CS 140/1. So what do I know about it? Absolutely nothing. It was just a good price, and it's all that they had. It's all they had, actually. But it was a big store. It's City Hardware. So do I think it's a cheap copy? Cheap Chinese copy? No, I don't. I think it's actually a genuine job. It may have been made in China, but it's generally made for the Einel company. And I was running a thing, and I thought, ooh, you're nice. The motor runs so beautifully smoothly, and it has a sort of feel of integrity. And I thought, why is this? What's going on here? And I realised something. The base plate is made of steel, and steel just has a property of just being being more stiff. I know that the aluminium is up to the job, but there's probably more flex in it, and this thing just feels like I don't know, like the difference between driving a BMW or a cheap family car. So you'll hear the sound of the motor when I fire it up, how smooth it is. This is really, you know, I guess it's German, and I guess they sent the tools to China, or maybe it was made in Germany, I don't know. Does it say? No. If I can find it. Oh, Einel, Germany. So it's made in Germany. And so you got the BMW feel. So let's fire it. I don't think you can pick that up. But honestly, to handle it, it's just beautiful. I love it. That might end up going back to the UK with me. Probably not. I've got a saw over there already. I better stop buying saws. I got buying tools generally. I've just got tools all over the world now. But what can you do, you know? You can't keep hauling them around. So anyway, that's that. So this is the first usage of this track, and this will be squared up, and I'll make a video about how that works later. The plan is, I've been watching videos of people using these saws with like spindles being turned around and using them to actually form, you know, dowels and all sorts. There's no reason why you couldn't machine a flat surface using one of these, but you got to be careful. You only got to do it slowly, bit by bit. So I'm going to construct two saddles, one for my AC powered, mains powered router, and another one for this thing. So I'll have two of these moving bridges, and I will test out the theory, and hopefully it means I'm going to have to bring the logs here in order to do them, or possibly use the Makita battery powered one, but I don't think it's got the oomph for the job. So we'll find out anyway. And then do that and start leveling wood with this. So if it works, I should be able to at least roughly level a considerable amount of wood, so I've got precise wood to work with. The initial part of doing this job is quite precise. You know, the structure of the cabin's got to fit together right, and afterwards things can be a bit rougher, you know, not so bad. And that's it for now. There's my gasoline, so I can power up my chainsaw there, see how it goes, and that's that. So Jesus be with you.